Ta-da! Whoa! What's up, guys? Welcome back. Start off with some cuteness. Double cutes and triple cuteness right there. Boom. So I had this thought. As, I guess, I don't know, do I start looking at myself as a small business owner? Sure, I mean, you know, basically 2 or 3 small businesses going on. But I had this thought. So, as a small business owner, I always have these grandiose, boom, way over the top, crazy ideas. And then H kind of reins me in a little bit, straightens out my thoughts, organizes them, points them in a direction, and then, you know, we figure out whether or not it's good, bad, or indifferent. But this one is a little. And she's amazing at that, because if you took a handful of wet spaghetti noodles and you just threw them against the wall, that's how my that's what my thought patterns look like. They're just, and hers is straight laser beam focus, and then if something comes up, she just boom, done, boom, done, boom, done. So she's really good at supporting my creative, crazy, and then pointing me in the right direction. So as always, thank her for that. What I was thinking though, today is, we're kind of getting out of winter, but I was sweeping hay off the floor and I see this. You guys can see this? It's just millions. I don't know about millions, but it's just laced with seeds from the hay we buy. Are all of those going to be viable? No, of course not, but that's why there's a million of them in every little bundle, so that the ones that might be viable will actually grow. So this is basically about the best seed growth material you could ever find. It's dirt and poop and seeds, right? So since we're going to shut down this front pasture and run the girls on this back pasture, which hopefully I'll get that out this week, me building the pasture and letting the girls out, because it needs to happen. As you can see over here, all this super rich creek bank flood zone grass is starting to green up very quickly. And as I was cutting the brush line back on the other fence yesterday, all of the sticker bushes, the trees, everything is greening up inside. Assume if I scrape a limb on this, you guys will be able to see that is legit full green. So unless we have second winter or third winter or fourth winter, as we tend to do in Ohio, this is about to kick off like wildfire. So what I want to do is, since I normally put the hay in the stalls to beef them up for deep litter, spring is coming, I'm getting ready to clean out all the stalls. They're nice and clean right now, and I will obviously, as needed, freshen up the top so they're not laying in poop, right? So why not take the hay that I'm sweeping off the floor, which I already filled the wheelbarrow with this morning. That's the floor hay and poop. This is the porch hay and poop, and spread it out on that pasture out there, just like a farmer would use a manure spreader to fertilize his fields. So what I'm thinking is I'll just start up there towards the house. That is the least fertile area in this field. As you get down here, we have a couple springs up there that run off, and they kind of feed this area, keep it moist enough that the grass grows in really well on this side of that pasture. This side is kind of like a high and dry, rocky, sandy. So I'm gonna start here. I wanna lace this whole hill as much as I can. So the plan is twofold. One, rotational grazing, because food, free food, easy food, free food. Somebody asked a question as well. Will the girls eat all this brown dead? Yes, they will go to town on that. It's just roughage. They like it. They're gonna eat it. So twofold, free food, said that, and parasite load. Parasite load is very important. You guys know we don't use dewormers unless we absolutely have to. That's important because they haven't made any dewormers for goats in 50 years. So there's no new dewormers out there. And once the worms on your property, every time you deworm a goat and that worm lives through that cycle and has babies, they have a tiny bit of immunity to that dewormer. And as you repeat the process continually, eventually those worms will become 100% immune to your dewormers, and they don't make any more. There's not any out there. There's nothing new coming that I've seen or read about. So once your dewormers run out, you have what's going to be a natural culling of your herd, meaning those goats that are weak and susceptible to those worms are just going to have to die because those worms are going to overload them and kill them. Joel Salatin actually, I think it was Joel that I was watching that actually uses that process to keep his herd strong. Let the weak die. If they can't fight off the worms, let them die. That makes your herd super strong, super resistant to your environment, which is in a natural environment, that's how it happens. For example, the deer around here, they don't get dewormers and special nutrients and minerals and things like that. They've evolved to be strong in this environment. So that's kind of that thought process. I can't do that, obviously. So we deworm, and what you need, I'm gonna make generalizations. It takes 8 weeks in the summer for the sun to kill the parasite load in a plot. So if we shut this down for 8 weeks and I layer that with seed and hay, one, the worm load should be next to nothing. The worms live at the bottom from the ground to about 8 inches up generally is what they say. So if your animals are eating anything lower than 8 inches on the grass, they're just ingesting those eggs and worms. So goal, shut this off for 8 weeks while the girls eat this down over here. Let this grow in, let it grow up. Hopefully some of it'll grow, all of it'll grow, some of it'll grow. And let this have 2 months, 8 weeks of just unhindered growth. Take the girls out of the pasture on the back side. We'll move them back to the pasture on the front side. We'll let that set for 8 weeks. That's the twofold. That's the plan. And this is a massive amount of land back here that they can use. And then obviously that over there is probably twice the size, if not 3 times the size of land. And then we're gonna add a bunch beside the back of the house, I think. I might have to rethink some of that because the septic is back there. All the house drains are back there. And the last thing I wanna do is drive a fence post through septic tank, septic line, or house drains or anything like that. So those aren't marked or traceable because they're just PVC pipe coming out of the house. So I put them in, I know where they are, but that was 5 years ago, 6 years ago. That was 2017. Am I gonna remember? So just anyway, I don't wanna ramble on about that, just thoughts about that. And then I'm gonna clean this up and we'll go show you how I'm gonna kind of broadcast spread it on the field out here. Since it's always windy, it should work magnificently. Put y'all in the swing. So many people said they liked the view of riding on the wagon when I was pushing it across the yard, so we'll take you on a little bit of a wheelbarrow ride. All right, here goes the speed up. Okay, well, I'm just going to use the wind, basically. Okay, I know it's windy, y'all, but it always is. So what I don't want to end up with is lumps and clumps. Let me see if I can. If I do this, it's going to act like mulch, and it's going to kill the grass, anything that's under it. So I want to make sure I get all the lumps and bumps and clumps spread out. You can see this grass here. That's almost golf course quality as far as how low it's cut. It's about 1/2 inch of grass total. It really just does not grow well up here. So that's why I want to start up here. It's very mossy up here where the grass doesn't grow. The moss does. So I don't, it's because it's just sandy, just sand. And it gets real dry and hot up here. and just nothing will grow. So if you guys think this will work well, let me know in the comments. Let me do this weird little cut scene for you guys, because one of the reasons in my brain that this should work is every year, okay, look at this. This is full on mud, gross muck, guck. Blech. So every year I put down hay from the barn right here so I can walk kind of on dry ground, see all the seeds in that. I put that down here to kind of create a less muddy path. It's still wet, but it's not mud. And it springs up here like wildfire. It does have a perfect watering system there to feed it. It's always a little bit moist here, but it works. Every year this just grows insanely crazy. I hate myself because I have to mow it and weed eat it just to get in the barn. You guys watching future videos, I'd like to say I'll bring you back and show you how awesome it looks outside the barn door there when it grows in, but I won't remember, so y'all just keep an eye on that. Put it in your brain there, and about June, July, you'll see what it looks like. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Boop. I don't want to go buy a bunch of seed before you say it, because last time I looked, standard, just regular grass seed is about $120 for 50 pounds at this point. When we moved in here and we seeded all of this, it was about 50 bucks. It was about $1 a pound. Now it's well over $2 a pound. That's the sale price, was 120. It was just a quick look on Rural King. I'm sure I could get it cheaper in other places, whatever, but I don't want to spend that kind of money to seed this when I have 1,000,000 pounds of seed sitting inside that hay bale. Plus it's already fertilized. Plus it'll have a little bit of ground cover to keep the birds out of it with the hay. So yeah, I think it'll work well. And it cost me nothing but a little bit of labor. So I'm gonna go with that. So let's just go inside. I'm gonna make this just one video because it's taken so long to do it. So I'm just gonna end this video here. I was gonna make this a two-parter where I talked about baby due dates, but I'm just gonna cut it off here. You guys will see that video yesterday, and I appreciate you watching. Thanks for watching. Hopefully the wind is not killing the mic too much, and we'll see you on the next one.